the microphone. Morning. Take the mask off your face and look at me face to face. Good morning. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning. This world is getting so cold. I wanna keep running like a soldier. Somebody must have touched my soul, 'cause there ain't no stopping till it's over. Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers. It's 7 a.m. and this is the Tobago Updates morning show coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. We continue to give God thanks for life. I am Julian Ski.
And I am Ria Richardson George, and this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Good morning to you, Tobago. Good morning, Trinidad. Those of you in the Caribbean and those of you viewing us on the live. Good morning. It is Tuesday morning.
Yes, Ria, yes. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of August, and we are officially into, this is the 8th month for the year. We're officially into that 8th month. It's time for the August celebrations, Ria. In fact, I feel like we are so far on into the year already for 2022.
So true. There are a lot of persons who are looking forward to the month of August. You know, but it says that we are almost at the end of the year, but just, midway. Coming out of the...
very quickly indeed.
That's right, coming out of the second phase, heading certainly into the third phase of the year. But I'll tell you this, it was quite an interesting weekend. We are now out of the heritage season, Julian. I know more concentration on back to school in just about, a month again?
Yes.
So 1 month of the vacation is over, 1 month to go.
Indeed. And it's that time we begin to ask parents to ensure that the necessary preparations are in place in terms of ensuring that your child is going to be ready to return to school in September. And everything just seems to be happening so fast. Really, it has been a long weekend. And I dare say my weekend started very early. Because for you, the viewers, I wanted to ensure, that we saw what was happening in terms of the Heritage Festival activities that took place over the course of the weekend. I got the opportunity to connect with our youth host and youth producer, on camera, and so at the activities for the Great Fete weekend. Beautiful. And then on into family celebrations yesterday, wedding celebrations that took place. Really a full, let's just say my long weekend went into the late night.
Your long weekend went longer than you expected.
Certainly it was, and I'm sure for many there were so many things happening in terms of the car show that I saw in the Shaw Park area happening there, a number of family gatherings and activities over this long weekend. And at the end of the day, Tobago really had an influx of persons coming across from Trinidad. I trust indeed that we are able to enjoy the economic benefits of the visits that would have taken place over the course of this long weekend. And I'm also very hopeful that we don't have to worry simultaneously about any kind of spread coming out of the long weekend. We really pray and hope that ultimately we are past that kind of time in any major or significant kind of way. But I really want to say it's really been an eventful weekend here in the Tobago space, and still we're heading on in and looking forward to things like Great Race and so coming on up in the month of August. All right, viewers, at this point we prepare to head on over to news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Julian and Ria, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, 2nd August 2022. The curtains came down on the Tobago Heritage Festival yesterday with the Emancipation Day celebrations. The 10-day festival was held under the theme Reflect, Rebirth, Rejoice, and stakeholders are heralding it as a success after the COVID-19 pandemic. Persons who attended the events had high praises for the productions and displays. Patrons' favorite events included the opening gala, Charlottesville Natural Treasures Day, and Emancipation Day. There is high anticipation for the 2023 edition of the Tobago Heritage Festival, as it promises to be bigger and include more events than this year's edition. Meanwhile, news of the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, testing positive for COVID-19 for the fourth time since the start of the pandemic attracted some skepticism from Deputy Chief Secretary Watson Duke. In a video posted on social media, Duke wondered if it was a publicity stunt. He stated that almost every time there is a new variant that emerges in Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Rowley tests positive for the virus. Meanwhile, no one else in his cabinet or government has a similar diagnosis. Duke is calling on the truth to be told about the Prime Minister's health. Nationally, national cyclist Nicholas Paul won 3 medals for Trinidad and Tobago at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, England. Paul clocked a nippy 1 minute and 0.089 seconds to earn his 3rd medal in as many days, as the largest haul from any TNT cyclist at the Commonwealth Games. On Sunday, Paul won silver in the men's sprint, and on Saturday he won gold in the carrying. Paul is the only athlete from Trinidad and Tobago's contingent to earn a medal in the 2022 Commonwealth Games so far. And that was the news in 90 seconds, and it's back to you, Ria and Julian.
Thank you so much there, Candace.
Thank you, Dave.
Julian, I love your cup.
Yes, it's that kind of morning. That
That's
kind
right.
of morning indeed. After a long weekend, you have to start with a warm beverage.
That's right, and a nice cup courtesy Creative Science.
Good to see Creative Science. Andrea, this morning we have a long lineup of birthday celebrations,
Yes,
and that
we do.
comes naturally after you have a long weekend with birthday celebrations. So let's head on into our birthday celebrations for this morning.
And that's right. So we've got Nadine Nichols, and these are some of the belated birthdays. So this was yesterday's birthday.
Yes,
my good
the
friend
entire
Nadine.
weekend.
That's right, Nadine Johnson Nichols, who celebrated her birthday yesterday. Auntie Nadine, love going out to you from the entire clan, Johnson clan, my family clan, everybody clan. This is my cousin there, Shannon Benjamin. My cousin, Shannon Benjamin, who celebrated his birthday yesterday as well. And this is all the 1st of August, people. So love going out to you, Shannon, from the entire family. All right, we've got Lyndon Wilson celebrating his birthday. Celebrated. Happy birthday going out to you, Lyndon. All the best. Cousin-in-law, Curleen Williams, Jack Curleen, love going out to you. Trust that you had a great one. Yolan Daniel, happy birthday going out to you, Auntie Yolan. No stranger to Tobago, Charles Scott celebrated his birthday 2 days ago. Happy belated going out to you, Charles Scott. We've got Glenn Grant, who celebrated on the 1st, which was yesterday. Happy birthday going out to you, Glenn Grant. And that's coming from Cassie.
Right, birthday shout outs going out to Kalisha Alexander. Kalisha Alexander out there wishing you a happy birthday. We have in the mix with us as well Lindian Parks, wishing you a happy birthday, Lindian Parks. Tyrell Sandy, birthday blessings going out to Tyrell Sandy this morning. And birthday shout out to Josanne Rojas. We want to wish you a happy birthday, and wishing each and every one of you a happy birthday, courtesy the Tobago Updates family here. Ria, who do we have on our rundown this morning? After a very long and eventful heritage celebration, who do we start off with this morning?
I'm happy that you asked. So John Arnold is going to be on the program this morning, and I guess he's going to give us the updates, give us some feedback on how things went for 2022 for the Tobago Heritage Festival. So he's going to be chatting with us.
All right, excellent. And then we also have on the rundown this morning Shamika Denoon, winner of the Tobago Heritage Calypso Monarch 2022, and she'll be chatting with us this morning. Who knows? We may get a little something in the mix there in that interview.
We can hope.
Yes, as I told her, I was looking forward to. In terms of the. I guess we'll touch on the vintage and the Calypso.
Yes.
In terms of coming forward, because we know that Shamika is very talented in that area. And we look forward to that interview with Shamika Denoon this morning as the winner of Tobago Heritage Calypso Monarch.
All right, and closing us off this morning, we will be chatting with Dr. Faith B. Israel, Secretary for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. And she's going to be on the program this morning to give us an idea, give us an update on COVID-19 and the monkeypox readiness. For the TRHA.
So that's an idea of our rundown here this morning. And let me pause for a moment, Rhea. Pause for a moment. Baba, classic cuts by Aquilon.
Yes,
they're out of Susuland this morning. Clothing, a t-shirt and a blazer. The connection this morning, courtesy Checkpoint. And that's Checkpoint located at Upper Main Street in Scarborough, 639-5148. I said to Checkpoint, I said, well, you know, it's coming back after a long weekend. I'm going for a kind of comfy look.
Well, you got it.
This morning. And I want to thank Checkpoint again, blazer and top, courtesy Checkpoint, located at Upper Main Street in Scarborough. Remember to connect with them at 639-5148.
All right. As well as Hair Sanctuary, let's not forget Hair Sanctuary, House of Norma, yes, and we've got Just My Size and Joy's House of Fashion. So Just My Size and Joy's House of Fashion, even though we are now out of the heritage/emancipation celebration, you can still get your African wear, your African wear.
Yes, connecting certainly, having every opportunity, because we don't have to limit it just to the emancipation period and the heritage celebration.
That's right.
In fact, a man like Jesse Taylor would remind you of that. You don't have to limit it at all.
No.
In terms of your dress code and your clothing. And Rhea, this morning I want to go to the live just a bit, and I want to start by shouting out, amazing individual. We bounced up over the course of the weekend, and you know she has her show as well. Didi herself.
She is back.
Yes, Didi is back. And let's just say I want to say a special thank you this morning to Didi. She would know why. In terms of really going above and beyond. And you know, Didi, over the course of the weekend when we connected there, you know, when you offer a helping hand and you don't necessarily need to, that was Didi, and I'm very thankful indeed.
So we're not going to get a story?
Oh no, Didi, we're not going to share that with them at all. But I want to say thank you so much and shout outs to Didi Vincent, always connecting with us on the live. And indeed, we had that opportunity to also connect over the course of the weekend. Also want to do some shout outs this morning very quickly. To CC Bax, I'm seeing Natalie Kajo in the mix this morning. Carol Fraser Davidson. Rhea, you look pretty in that pink. That's Cynthia Alman.
Thank you so much, Cynthia Alman.
Travis Moses joining us on the live this morning. And each and every one of you, we want to say thank you so much. Oh, Suzette James Stewart. We have Nadine Nichols. Birthday greetings to you, my dear cousin. So that's also coming out from Suzette James Stewart. And I see Sherwin Chavez McKnight saying it's the best month of the year. And one of my very own youth hosts says August is the month. You'll hear more about that tomorrow on Youth Wednesday.
Most definitely.
All right, viewers, so we want to thank you so much for your continued love and support. And at this point, this is your opportunity to share the live.
Good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, morning. Good morning.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry. Don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry. If your life can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. Don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry. If your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry. If sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry. If times fall on you real hard, I tell them never ever worry. What I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Susalands, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers. It's 7:15 a.m. and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. This morning, as we continue, we want to continue to recognize our sponsors on board with us. We have Checkpoint, located at Upper Main Street in Scarborough. Blazer and Top this morning, courtesy Checkpoint 639-5148. And as we head on into this segment this morning, we are chatting. It's the long weekend, and that long weekend also meant that we saw the wrapping up of the Tobago Heritage Festival 2022. I almost said a taste of or the experience, but we are heading back on in 2022 and excited about 2023. And therefore, in this segment, we are chatting with John Arnold, CEO of the Tobago Festivals Commission. Good morning, sir.
Morning. Tired, but I'm here.
It's been a long weekend indeed.
Yeah.
As we get started, I want you to let us know what's your general feel in terms of the return, so to speak, of the Tobago Heritage Festival.
Yeah, well, I think I like to be pretty analytical about these things. So I think when you look at the festival really fits into what I always see as one of our prime indigenous festivals. You have, for me, that there are two categories in terms of the indigenous festivals and the tourist tempters. The heritage here fits into both categories, but in a very unique way. This is a very long-standing festival. My impression this year is on three levels. One from the artists, two from the communities, and three from the audiences. I think those three would be a nice way to kind of look at it. And on each level, I thought that there was a new kind of energy, right? In all three platforms, there was a new kind of effort, and there was a new kind of, I would say, enthusiasm. Yeah, I stay in with the E's. Enthusiasm, effort, and energy. I think that was, you saw that with the audiences, you saw that with the artists, and you saw that with the communities. And I think what I call communal harmony, these things are so important for that. So that's my general overall impression. I was fortunate to have also worked in some of the villages personally, for example, Charlottesville. And I'm telling you, there's a thing about the children, the young people, and the old, and how they work together, that I think this is one main function of the Tobago heritage in terms of keeping the communal harmony.
So what we saw was the return of most, and not necessarily all the villages that we have seen over the years.
I won't say most.
Well, what would have guided?
The
what would have guided that return in terms of the selection of the key villages? Would the villages themselves have had to offer and give an indication, or within the confines of the Heritage Festival and the committees and the commission, a determination being made? Well, this is what we can manage as we return with that full face-to-face engagement of the Tobago Heritage Festival. What was the process in terms of determining the villages?
Right. So the process started off with a call. We normally make a call for proposals, and villages will make that submit their proposals. Now, when those proposals come in, then we look at them and then we determine. But then overall, when the committee looked at it in terms of what do we start off with coming out of of the physical, of the pandemic. It was thought that we needed to now focus on those that are key, those that, and we again looked at different things in terms of representation, north, east, west, south. So all those things played a part, and so we selected the villages in this instance, bearing in mind the flagship ones are pretty ready, and they're pretty much advanced in terms of how it's easy for them to move. Old Time Wedding, it's easy for them to move. Lekoto, it's easy for them to move and so on. So those are some of the parameters we kind of worked with, and we were able to do that. And again, we had budgetary constraints, so we had to move from 2 weeks to 1 week. And it worked. We still, even the 1 week, we had 2 rest days. And I think the 2 weekends and 1 week, I think, worked really well this year. Next year, I'm sure we will go back to or 3 weekend, 2 weeks.
In terms of the expanded reach. Yeah. Tell us about your feel, particularly in terms of returning from after the pandemic and the engagement and that blend of those seniors and the younger persons ensuring that the Heritage Festival and our heritage is really able to live on.
Yeah. I think there are 2 things I want to talk as you asked that. One, I think we're pretty secure in that the junior heritage has proven itself that the young are definitely on board in terms of the knowledge transfer. I don't think we have a major issue there. We have to admit that the young people are really involved. I remember working in Charlottesville and one night, when we were doing the last rehearsal before when the young persons did the folk song presentation, I was sitting next to Annette Alfred. I don't know if she knows, but tears came from my eyes because it was so emotional for me watching young people and literally saying, we have some hope, we have some hope. We're in good hands. So I think in terms of the preservation, the retention, and all that, I think we're pretty safe. And I think that augurs well as we move forward, as we see what's going to happen with the young people taking the mantle from the old. The other thing that I must say, Julian, is coming out of the pandemic, there's so many more creatives that are now working on the video side, on the film side. And boy, I think that is really good because they're not only working like that, they're really passionate about it. They're not like doing it as a job only. It's something they love, it's something they want to create and they want to develop. And I thought that that has really helped in terms of moving the festival. And also it creates real opportunities if you give it some thought. Soon instead of Nollywood and Bollywood, we may see bigger wood in terms of the kind of stuff that we can put out. We have so many stories in this country, and our heritage is a nice platform for that to start. So those are some of my observations. There's several other opportunities. I would need an hour with you to talk about that. Yeah.
So we would have even had a situation. We saw one of our viewers and shout out this morning to Anne-Marie Davis in terms of sending out thanks for the live coverage of the Heritage Festival. And we even saw a number of persons connecting those abroad and diaspora, so getting the opportunity within the our diaspora, feeling so proud and so comforted by the fact that do you feel that this is the natural direction that things will go, just as you're mentioning, in relation to providing this kind of content far and wide? And should we also look forward to opportunities where this content can even be summarized and packaged for resale, going out there to help to even market our very own Tobago and why it is important to come experience our festivals, and the Tobago Heritage is only one such. What are your thoughts in that regard, driving the tourism product?
Right up my alley. No. You're dead correct on that. We've got to, if you remember the 2 years in the pandemic, we had Heritage Festival at a scaled-down version, but online. But it's funny that during that time, we had new audiences, people who never knew. We had thousands. I mean, our audience was actually maybe, I would say, 10 times what we normally would have locally. So online, that became something we realized, new and diverse audience also. meaning people from all kinds of other ethnic and cultural backgrounds. And those are certainly some areas we can go down in terms of focusing the academic community, the diaspora, as you said, and obviously monetizing in terms of how we start looking at our dialect, producing films in our dialect, stories in our dialect, and developing the kind of cultural confidence that would kind of augur and redound to the benefit of us. So I totally agree with you. My own thoughts professionally and as a worker there, I think it is an angle that we have to look at. Obviously, we have to now work on research, right, in a big way, right? The more research, and then we have to look now at how we use strategy to use that research to move forward in the way you're talking.
What are your hopes and aspirations going forward for 2023? Because, you know, coming out of the pandemic, it's as if we have a rebirth, to use that word in terms of, you know, the Heritage Festival. And therefore, one is only expecting that this kind of rebirth will build and it will continue to grow once again. What are your hopes and aspirations for 2023?
Yeah, well, I am very optimistic. I mean, apart from being an eternal optimist, but I am very hopeful and optimistic that I think next year is going to be bigger. I think we're going to have more villages. I think we're going to have more energy. And I think one of the things that we don't realize easily is that coming out of Heritage, you have several products. When we had the Taste of Tobago, we went to Trinidad with 3 items. One was a seven-person ensemble for the Tobago wedding. And then we went with a 7-person ensemble for the cocoa dancing as products, right? And then we went with the crab racing as one item. What you realize is in the heritage itself, we have several individual products that can be used, right, as standalone, as an item. Just like if you come to sing, or you come to do drama, or you come to dance, this can be an item. And it worked, right? The whole process and the procession. And so I think coming out of this, we have to now look at what are some of those things that can be used as items in hotels, in concerts, in sessions, wherever, that can now be products that we can add.
Excellent.
So next year, I think we're going to be big and better.
For those looking on the screen, where are we at here in Tobago?
Natural Treasure.
So this is up at Charlottesville.
Charlottesville.
All right. And
that's my peeps. Those are my peeps.
It seems like John Arnold would have certainly enjoyed the Charlottesville.
I work with them, so it's always a joy.
In particular.
I'm not biased, but it's always a joy.
All right. And as we look forward, I know you're in terms of the Tobago Festivals Commission. Going forward, the Tobago Heritage Festival is only one of those festivals. What can we look forward to before the end of this year?
Blue Food is going to be big, and it's going to be part of the calendar that's going to focus on Tobago Carnival, October Carnival. It's 2 weeks before the October Carnival, Sunday the 16th of October. So that's something that people can look forward to. And then we have, coming back next year, big, better, brighter, energized Tobago Jazz Experience, which we have already started to work on.
So the lineup has already started here. Blue Food into Tobago Carnival, going into Tobago.
But we have Carnival next year too.
And Carnival as well.
Carnival February.
Happening at the national level. Are you pleased with the level of support coming from the general public in terms of what we have seen here regarding Tobago coming out and supporting these activities and initiatives? Even some still having a bit of fear, choosing to follow on the live, but some deciding we're going to venture out and support in terms of these activities. What's your general take in terms of the support that you have seen for these events from opening night right through to emancipation?
Right. So remember when I started, I gave you the 3 categories, right? And I thought that all of them, the audiences included, were energized and people showed effort and so on. The audiences opening night, very good. Lekoto, I think Lekoto was like a monster.
The turnout was amazing.
And then we had Charlottesville, was also good in terms of turnout. And there's still debate as to, which year was larger and so on. But what's important is that the turnout was really, really significant. What I like, though, in Charleville case, people came out early to partake in the actual festival, right? And not so much in the evening for the party kind of thing. But I think overall, audiences supported. People came out, Pembroke, I think because of the rain, that had a little problem there. But I think overall, I would say the attendance, the Queen Show, was well attended, right? That may have said the Queen Show. Heritage personality.
Heritage personality. We have an opportunity, and I have to throw this in very quickly before we wrap this morning, where there are those who are expressing the view that excellent in terms of what we deliver, but the feeling that it's too long. I had the experience at one of the shows, and I literally saw a point where it is as good as it was. Persons, your body couldn't cope with it anymore because you're sitting down. It's not the kind of thing that if you don't have that kind of movement to keep you going. Is that something we should look at across the board in terms of should we have our productions going 3 and 4 hours running?
Yeah, Julian, is one of the points I make because even my own personal delivery of events, I try to stay 1.5, 2 hours. I find it always better when people must be sitting and wanting more and wishing they could lap up more rather than getting on board. So I think it's one of those, it's a good point you've raised. We've got to look at the length of production. Because I think once you've made a point, you don't need to extend that. Definitely, I totally agree with you. Productions, we need to tailor them in terms of the timing.
Because I agree with the philosophy, and it's a point I always make as well. It's safer to leave people wanting more. than simply just going because you feel that someone is enjoying the production. And again, I know I told you that was the last, but I had to drop in very quickly. I couldn't have you here, and I just saw commenting on the live call. Is Hazel, your involvement with the Lord Nelson production. Please tell us about that very quickly. Thank you for that reminder, Collis.
Boy, I don't know. That was epic. Saturday night at Queen's Hall, people did come out to pay tribute to the man. I have a real thing about paying tribute to these masters. When I sit with Lord Nelson for hours talking, the kind of wisdom he gives, and we, I mean, even my age, I consider him such a senior. 91 is not an easy task. And this guy performed that night, I'm telling you. They asked the audience to stand before he came out. And then when they came out, the band started with Lala. And he never got a chance to even start properly. The audience was singing. I mean, it was just emotional. It was so emotional that I kind of tapped my chest and just went backstage, It was really emotional. So I think it's really good that people came out and well supported. And as an icon, and there's several other persons, we have to do that while they're alive. Give praise to these guys while they're alive.
I agree with that fully in terms of giving that praise while persons are alive indeed. So thank you so much, John Arnold, CEO of the Tobago Festivals Commission. And you see, we're getting a sneak peek one time. You're also giving us the heads up. We're heading on into the Blue Food Festival, Tobago Carnival, National Carnival, the Jazz Festival. There is much to look forward to. And this is the heads up, really, particularly for those of you viewers joining us in Trinidad, the region, and the world at large. Time to book those tickets. Follow us on social media to get those dates to ensure that you are here in Tobago to enjoy the celebrations and the activities, particularly as everyone seems to be saying at this time, we outside, and we're happy to be back outside. All right, viewers, we're heading on into 2 segments. We want to catch up with the good stuff this morning and then to capture an additional birthday in the mix. But just before we head there, the good stuff this morning. Dwight York's first match in charge finishes in a 6-0 win, and the Makata FC Bulls are through to a round of 16 of the Australian Cup. All right, so that's Dwight York's efforts out there. And we want to say congratulations this morning, and that's all good stuff coming in this morning. And the birthdays continue to flow from the long weekend. I'm waiting for that image to come up on the screen. I'm sure this is a face we're all familiar with. Member of Parliament for Tobago East, Minister Ayanna Webster-Roy, celebrated over the course of the weekend, and we want to say happy birthday going out to you, Ayanna Webster-Roy, and coming from the entire Tobago Updates family. We want to thank each and every one of you, those viewing us via Gael, those viewing us via M&E TV, those listeners on Smash Radio, and those listeners on Street 91.9 FM, and those of you connecting with us online. And let me run to online very quickly. Mr. Arnold, well done. Andrea Macmillan, Shanika Harris in the mix. She attended all the shows. Well done. Dora Lyons, Auntie Dora, Pearl Murray Bailey in the mix. Marilyn Spence, Joe Field, Nadine Nichols, Listra Belford. We say morning to each and every one of you. Lisa James, and all of you connecting with us out there. We want to say morning, and thank you so much for your continued love and support for the Tobago Updates morning show. Viewers, at this point, this is your opportunity to share the live.
No sticks, no stones, or any kind of weapon don't belong here. I don't want to break no bones.
Security Services
I just
Company
wanna-
is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
The Street 919 FM and the Tobago Updates presents the Tobago Updates Morning Show live simulcast on the Street 919 FM. Start your day with all the information you want and need with the simulcast of the Tobago Updates Morning Show live Mondays to Fridays from 7 a.m. on the Street 919 FM, the official station that defends the nation.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
From then till now, we adapt and we unite. And for this rich legacy to last, they must hold the practices of the past with stories to cringe and make you smile, where a whole village would raise a child. Everyone contribute to his profile. Hopscotch from girl in the ring, the old folk songs they will sing. Wake and bongo day, bring your drums, boy, play. Reignite the flame of our heritage. In this rebirth, reclaim all that we lost. Our tradition inform the way we live. Can't go on existing simply because. So rejoice.
Reignite the flame. Reignite the flame. And to chat with us this morning, the winner of the Tobago Heritage Calypso Monarch 2022, none other than Shamika Dinoon. Good morning and welcome to you.
Good morning Tobago, good morning Ria.
Shamika, congratulations to you first up.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right, now let's get into the meat of the matter. Let's get into the heart of the thing here. Reignite the flame. In fact, tell us first of all how you feel at this point, because this would have been a major win for you.
Oh my gosh, yes it has been. I felt very elated coming out of the pandemic. You know, we were down for 2 years and I especially was yearning to get back on the stage. So, you know, I said, you know what? When I reach there on July 29th, I will give them things.
The one thing you could give them things.
Yes.
I hear you loud and clear. All right, so what went into this performance? In fact, tell us about the song of choice, your writer. Where was your heart in this song?
Well, first of all, the Heritage Monarch 2022, you must sing on the theme. And their theme was rebirth, rejoice, reflect. So, you know, it was only fitting with this theme, reignite the flame, so that we can reenact with our yesteryears and the customs and the norms of society. So this song was crafted to just highlight Tobago in how we were from then till now, and that we really need to hold on to our traditions.
And who wrote your song?
My song was written by Mr. Sheldon Reed. Yes, Mr. Sheldon Reed wrote this song. He got ideas from, you know, the legendary Jesse Taylor. I mean, Jesse can write it, but you see the information.
He has that.
Yes, he built up information of our culture, and I must say thank you for that. Yes.
All right. Now, reignite the flame. Give us a little, you know, story for those persons who did not hear it. Now we're gonna get into the song, but in terms of the story behind it.
So the story behind it is that, you know, we have the children and they are our future. So we now, as the, well, not literally me, but the elders, because I have learned from them.
No, watch me. You don't need to explain anything. Yes, the elders.
Yes, the elders, that we now need to hold on to their knowledge to be handed down and to pass on, because this is we as a people. And what in this song explain is that you teach the children, you bring them back to this, and the third verse especially speaks about, let's change the paradigm. Let us start to introduce these cultural stuff within the syllabus, because not everyone is, you know, everyone is not privy to excel in written or in. So you know, if we teach them oral traditions, maybe they could, you know, use that in their creative writing. Understand meaning that, because that's how you express yourself. So if we use some of our culture to enhance the educational system here in Tobago, I think it will be very imperative.
Yeah, opportunities for our Tobago children to excel in the areas of our heritage.
Yes, yes, indeed.
All right, and I'm particularly interested in the outfit. Is it? Yeah, tell us about the outfit.
No, so my song, like I said, it starts from, you know, I explain what is heritage and who we are. And we came from an ancestral background. So that was the hook line, you know, in our ancestry, you know, reclaiming their legacy. And, you know, we came from, you know, the ancestral part, from slavery, from Africa. But I choose to, how to put it? I choose to highlight the royalty of Africa rather than, you know, coming from the bitter past, because we are that type of people. So I said, you know what, I'm going on that stage looking regal. I'm going on that stage looking like a royal African queen.
And that you did.
Yeah, thank you.
That you did.
So I said, you know, this outfit will, you know, coincide with the song, so that you see I am speaking about this is our heritage from Africa till now.
Well, Shamika, I know that Tobago is really proud of you.
Oh, yes, they are. I mean, my sister messaged me and said, Shamika, I read every single comment and listen to me. You were well received by the viewing audience.
Certainly you were. I see some persons who were, you know, who logged on, maybe online, and what they've got to say, some person said, congratulations, honey.
Thank
I would do it all over again, always there, no matter place or situation. Darling, well done. That's my friend.
Thank you.
All right, and persons will definitely, I mean, there was only a lot of praise and support for you.
Yes,
and for that performance.
Very much appreciated.
All right, Sheldon Reed said, one thing I learned about you is that you are a fighter. Just keep on keeping on.
Yes, Sheldon. Oh my gosh, I received this song like 3 days before the audition. I said, Sheldon, I don't know if I could do it. You can do it. I know you. You will sit down. You'll take night and make it into day, and you
and you did.
Yes, I did.
You did. You turned it into your song. In fact, it was your song, and you delivered. Now, Shamika, you also entered the Miss Heritage Personality Competition.
Oh yes, I did.
You did not emerge winner.
No, I didn't.
But what was the experience like for you, being one of the more matured women who entered this year?
The experience was really well. I mean, I'm always on the stage singing or dancing, you know, so trying this queen thing, it was a great experience. You know, it's a lot of hard work, I could say. It's a lot of hard work. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I brought myself and my confidence and, you know, the boost of the self-esteem, and that I can encourage and empower, you know, older women or ladies,
let's go with more mature.
so that, you know, we can take these as a learning example. Now, mind you, I was to sing this song for the Heritage Queen Show, and then I said, you know what? Yeah.
You put it on her back
I say, Shamika, sometimes they have to lose to win. Sometimes they have to lose to win. I said, I am not going to sing this. As a matter of fact, Jessie Taylor said, you're not going to sing this song. Wow. This song has its time. This song is going to rise. You wait until the perfect time. So I'm saying, you know, this would have been the perfect time at the Calypso Monarch.
And this was...
Oh my gosh.
Looking back now, what are your thoughts?
Oh my gosh. I'm speechless.
But you're happy that you did?
Yes, yes.
All right. Let me just share some of what's happening on the live here. Arlene Allen says, congratulations, Sham. I guess that's a love name.
It's been a long time coming. Backup. Yeah, she
said it's been a long time coming.
Thank you,
Pearl
Arlene.
Duke Orr says, Shamika, great. Congrats, Shamika, great performer.
Thank you, Auntie Pearl. Oh my God, these are people who has, you know, been with me from the inception till now.
That's right. CC Bax says, yes, Shamika, congrats again.
Thanks, Chanel.
All right, so... And that's just some of what's happening on the line there.
Thank you.
Now, who are those persons that would have? No, you mentioned some of you know, Arlene as one of your long-standing backups.
Yeah.
Who are those persons who would have supported you?
Okay, who would my support team? I must say my support team started from like my significant other. I mean, he's always there, Mr. Jason Celestine. When I tell you, he's always there. If I have to go to the clothes store 5 or 10 times a day because I can't make up my mind, he is here to go.
So is he one of I remember one doctor telling me that my husband suffered from a particular disease, and it was GMS. Is he one of those who suffers from GMS? It's good man syndrome. Is he one of those?
Yeah,
he has good man syndrome.
Indeed, he do. Oh my gosh, I have to get an award for him. You know, yes, and my daughter, listen, my children are also my biggest support, you know. I will be singing my song home loud, you know, loudly, and you will be hearing them in the background as they refrain.
Wow.
Yes, and you know, they start in the crowd, and you know, although my daughter is 5 years old, I am telling you, I saw that excitement on her face when I came on the stage.
Is she your mini-me? Do you see?
Of course.
Okay.
I see her in the future. Yes, being a replica of me.
All right. And who else in terms of your support?
Of course. Oh my gosh, Mr. Jesse Marlon Taylor. Listen to me. Jesse Taylor is such a great support, from dress code to tie up the hair to...
And listen, you know he's good at that.
Of course he is. He will say, listen, don't just go on the stage like that. You have to bring it. You must give me a little fear. Put the hand so. When you want to grow and go down with the belly, I said, okay. All I just say is, okay, Jesse. So, Jesse, I must say thank you so much for the empowerment. Thank you for the inspiration. And thank you for the motivation. My sister, Natalie. Oh, my gosh. Natalie Wilson, thank you so much. My sister will message me all wee hours of the morning. Are you ready? Are you sleeping properly? You're drinking your water? Yes.
You needed that.
Yes, I did. And all my friends, you know, they were always supportive. From far, from near, you know, my friends in the States, you know, all of them will call. They will ensure that I was well prepared for this. They were like, you're in every heritage. Take time to sleep. Take time to relax. I said, I am the heritage, so don't worry. I will bring it.
That's right. And what is your message to Tobago? I mean, now that you've emerged winner in this competition, what is your message to Tobago?
Tobago, we are a people rich in culture. We are very, you know, our customs and our culture makes us unique. So we need to hold on to this type of tradition and heritage, because the world, by extension, you know, look forward to what we have and what we have to bring. So Tobago, I want to say thank you for the support, thank you for the motivation. And, you know, one hand cannot clap. We can all do this moving forward. I'm open to, you know, work with anybody, especially the children, because I am very dear to children. And Tobago, let us hold strong and let us just, reignite that flame that we have.
All right. So Toya Kent says, congratulations, hon. Shamika Dinoon, I'm proud of you. Akisha Wilson.
Hey.
And she says,
my sister.
Now hear it. She says, my whole sister, big up you. All right. I hope I said it the way you wanted it.
Yes, you
all right. Selma Lashley says, Shamika, well done. Big up Kenan Bonacord.
Yes, thank you.
Shanika Harris, Jesse is a boss at what he do.
Yes, he is.
Sherlyn Sandy, congratulations. Dawn E.T. Thomas, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
All right. So we're going to leave it there. But Shamika, great things. We see great things on the horizon for you.
Amen. I receive that in the name of the Lord.
And this is not the beginning. This is actually the middle of your story, because you would have labored in the vineyard.
Yes, I did. Oh my gosh.
To get to where you are today. All right?
It's the journey.
All right. So we've
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, my dear. So we've got lots more coming up on the program, viewers. So remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Chorus, one voice in our ancestry, preserving their legacy. Fire on top, fire below, pumping and crab, roof to soul. Reignite the flame. Give me. Teach it.
This piece of property at number 1 Lambo Orkinscure is currently under quarantine. That's due to the sighting of the giant African snail in the area. The snail species has been contained, but the area will be under surveillance for several years to ensure complete eradication. This is one of 3 reported locations in Tobago where the giant African snail has been sighted. The other 2 areas were successfully treated, but ongoing eradication efforts suggest that the presence of this pest is a serious concern for the public. Casey Marie Boucher-Koon, Plant Protection Specialist in the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development, explains why.
It's very prolific. That means it multiplies quickly and makes large amounts of young. In addition to that, it also is the vector of the rat lungworm, which can cause meningitis in humans and other ailments in domestic animals like dogs. The giant African snail, once the population begins to explode, easily becomes a public nuisance, as we have observed in the sister isle Trinidad.
The giant African snail is a deep reddish brown with cream and yellow longitudinal stripes along the shell. This snail eats more than 500 species of plants, including lettuce, pawpaw, and various herbs, so it can easily hamper the agricultural sector. Those who traverse between Trinidad and Tobago should be especially mindful. Carefully check the undersides of vehicles, since the snail can attach itself to the undercarriage. Casey Marie also has some advice on the kind of pesticides that can be used to eliminate the pest.
We ask that you take the additional precaution of treating your planting material with the active ingredient thiodicarb. This is a pesticide that is effective at killing snails and eggs. This pre-treatment before returning to the port to come back to Tobago will help us 100-fold in preventing Tobago from becoming overrun by giant African snail.
There are other methods of treating with this pest. The plant protection specialist tells us how.
If you should encounter the giant African snail, you should cover your hands, whether it be gloves or a plastic bag, before handling them, and place them in a salt or bleach solution. And that mixture is 2 cups of bleach or 2 cups of salt to 1 gallon of water. And you will drown them in that solution for a minimum of 24 hours. After the snails are dead, the best means of disposal is to contain them and burn them.
Eradicating the giant African snail is everyone's business, so early reporting and intervention is extremely important. This will help the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development eliminate the presence and the threat of this snail on the island. If you're interested in joining the eradication team or want more information about the giant African snail, call the Plant Protection Unit at 482-7528.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Good morning, viewers. It's 7:54 a.m. and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough. In this segment, we are chatting with Dr. Faith B. Israel, Secretary with responsibility for the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection. Morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Julian. I am great. Good morning, Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, and everyone who's listening.
Well, I have to start this interview before I even get on topic by asking, how was your long weekend in Tobago?
Oh, it was the longest weekend on earth, and I enjoyed every second of it.
All right, excellent indeed. So this morning we're heading on into the conversations regarding an update on COVID-19 and also speaking to another reality that is before us in terms of the monkeypox. So let's start with COVID-19. Where are we at in Tobago? We've seen changes being made in terms of the reporting and so on. Right. We have seen persons now returning to being outside. The mask wearing mandates have been removed. How should we feel as the general public going forward?
So I think we should still be cautious. Let's not throw everything out the window. As you rightly said, we have changed our reporting mechanism. So now we're not doing the daily COVID reports anymore. You get weekly reports. So every Monday morning, you get a report that reflects the Sunday to the Saturday before. So the numbers that you're seeing, that is for the entire 7-day period. We do realize, though, that since we've started doing it, we're seeing a little bit of an uptick. We started with a 70-something 1 week, a 90-something 1 week. Now we're 100-something 1 week, so it's going up a little bit, but we expected that. We expected that given the new variants that we have of COVID. The variants that we have is the BA5 and that one, Omicron BA5, and that one, they say it's a little bit more infectious, meaning more people will get infected, but people are not getting very sick. So the uptick in the numbers is not surprising. That's what we expected given the variant that we have now. So we are also not seeing significant deaths or anything like that. So that I am happy about. We are still encouraging people to still use your mask. Even though we've lifted the mandate, if you think that you are sick in one instance, or if you think you're going into a space that you don't have proper airflow and that kind of thing, definitely still wear your mask. You be comfortable. You do what you need to do to be safe.
One of the pet peeves for me, Dr. Faith, how do we get business places and entities to recognize that with or without the regulations, maintaining that sink and soap and water on the outside is a plus for the entire society? How do we get that message out there?
Yes, that is one of the things I noticed. It is as if when we said no longer move your mask, it means no longer move the sink. So I am actually encouraging the business places to still maintain that sanitization. So the sink, the water, the soap, definitely. If you've decided to remove those, then please have hand sanitizers on entrance, so that at least when people enter your facility, they are able to sanitize their hands with alcohol-based sanitizer. So please, and if you are going around and you do not see the sink, you do not see the hand sanitizer, you still buy your own hand sanitizer, have it on your person, and use it as you go along, please. Definitely.
So you just mentioned in terms of the variant, this new variant that we're facing once again. Remind persons for me in terms of the protocols, get in contact, taking on that personal level of responsibility. Those were things that we once heard every hour, every 2 hours in the media space, every day. So just remind persons again what's required under those circumstances.
Certainly. So if you feel that you have COVID, if you think that you are sick, you can call 800-HEAL or 211 and they can schedule a test, schedule you to go up to the Old Fort to be tested. You can't just go up there any day, all day to get tested. You have to be schedule, and particularly since the numbers are lower, we are managing the resources, so we don't have people just sitting there if we don't have people scheduled to come in and get tested. Definitely, if you are sick, stay home, stay away from work. You know, don't go, because that is where you are able to interact with other people and therefore get other people infected. Keep washing your hands with soap and water. We said before, the soap is what actually kills the outer layer, that protein membrane of the virus. The soap kills that, or the soap breaks that off, and that is what in essence kills the virus. So keep washing your hands, keep sanitizing. Again, keep wearing the mask if you are going out and you need to be in, particularly in enclosed spaces, places that do not have natural airflow and so forth. Keep wearing the mask. There are businesses that will tell you you still have to use the mask to come into their businesses, and they have all the right to do it. The only place we still have a mask mandate are in the health facilities. So the hospitals, the health centers, and so forth, once you are going into those facilities, you are still required to wear your mask in those health facilities for obvious reasons. So we're just encouraging people to still think about it, keep listening, keep following along. Don't panic. Don't get too wild. Don't think, well, oh Lord, everything done, let us now go back to normal, because we're not quite there yet. But this is something we're figuring out how to live with, and that's what we're encouraging people to do.
You know, and it would be remiss of me if I didn't use an opportunity like this. We have been through 2+ years in terms of the pandemic and going, and we have a situation where critical at the essence of this are healthcare workers. What's your message for healthcare workers as they continue to remain dedicated to the cause?
You know, these are the heroes. These are the heroes that I don't know that people recognize, that while the rest of us had the opportunity to stay at home and had the opportunity to relax and dress back and think. These are the individuals who've been working tirelessly for the last 2.5 years, and we need to seriously congratulate them, seriously thank them for their effort. And it was actually one of the reasons why, when we came in, one of the things we did was sign that 3-year contract with them, so that they know that because COVID is coming to an end, you've worked so hard, you've been on that month-to-month contract before. It doesn't mean that we're over with you and we're just going to kick you aside. No, we want to give you that kind of assurance that you'll keep having employment, and that we will keep doing our best to treat with your needs continually. So again, thank you to all of the healthcare workers who've been consistently working. And we are getting to the end of COVID, quote unquote, and this other thing is now jumping on board. And I am having the conversations with my health professionals again, and we're like, when is this going to come to an end? So we understand how tiring it is, but I continue to thank them for their dedication and their hard work.
And you've touched right on into the reality that we're required to face. We're now, we've been hearing in recent times far and wide. We're still thankful, and some would say not yet, in terms of monkeypox being, arriving here in Trinidad and Tobago. But tell us about our preparedness here in the Tobago space in particular. We heard some information being put forward by the Minister of Health with regards to Trinidad and Tobago in terms of being prepared for the challenge of the monkeypox. Tell us about our Tobago preparation.
Certainly. Well, we've been actually doing quite a bit in Tobago. We've ensured that our health professionals, are very aware of what to look for, because we've recognized that in the United States, by the way, United States has one of the highest rates of monkeypox right now. Imagine that. That is something we need to be very, very concerned about, because that's right there. All of we just go America and come back. So we have to be very, very concerned about that. But we have put in place a 3 eyes mechanism that we are using internally and externally. The first eye has to do with identify. So we've actually been going around. Dr. Nathaniel Duke, our infectious disease specialist, has actually been part of the team leading the charge of going around to the different health facilities, to the health centers, the hospitals, and so forth, and educating them about what monkeypox looks like, what to look for. So if somebody comes in with, they came in because they're coming into the STI clinic, or they're coming in and they have these lesions or they have these bumps, and this is what is happening to them, this is what to look for. So the first eye is identify. Now that we've identified that you may be a monkeypox case, because we are not at the point where we are testing for the virus just yet, we then isolate you. Now, the good thing about coming out of COVID is that we are all now quite comfortable with quarantining and isolation. maybe not comfortable, but we know what it means. So that is the second I, isolate. So once we've identified that you may be someone who has monkeypox because you have all these signs and symptoms and maybe a travel history and that kind of thing, we then isolate you. After you've been isolated, we then inform. What does that inform mean? We then inform the office of the CMOH so that we can track the cases that we have. We then inform the office of the CMOH then informs your contacts, so people who you may be in contact with, to see, well, okay, you've been in close contact with this person, you may then need to you know, be quarantined and that kind of thing. So it's identify, isolate, and inform. Those are the 3 I's that we've been working with. And I think we are prepared. We are at a point where, you know, the first time it happens, there'll certainly be hiccups, there'll certainly be things that we did not anticipate, but we have been learning the lessons from COVID. And now that we've figured out what worked and didn't quite work for COVID, we are translating many of those lessons to monkeypox if and when it comes to Tobago.
All right, I like how you say if and when. Some say when it is, you know, in truth, looking towards the fact that it might be a reality that we're going to potentially have to face. I want you, for the purpose of our viewers and listeners out there, you know, in terms of describing, from your understanding, what are some of the, you know, potential indications or symptoms associated with monkeypox?
Certainly. So monkeypox it's one of those things that we hear the monkeypox and we think about the lesions, the pox that is on your skin. That is usually the last part of it. So by the time you get to the pox, it's probably because you've had a severe fever sometime before. It's probably because you've had really bad headaches or you've had muscle pains before. All of that sound like a cold, right? All of that sound like a normal cold. I know. So that's why we have to be very, very careful with those things. And after you get those, then you start getting the lesions, what looks like bumps. It may start off looking like pimples, and then it becomes a lesion that actually has a scab that peels off after a while. Now, the thing that's important to know with monkeypox is that the liquid that is oozing out of those scabs, that is oozing out of the pox, that is actually what is most infectious. So it is when you come into very close contact with somebody who has those lesions, that is when you are more likely to get in contact, to get infected. And that is why the cases we've been seeing thus far, most of the cases that we've been seeing thus far in the United States and all over the world, have really been cases that have been transmitted via sex, because, you know, you're having very close contact with somebody while having sex. It is not a sexually transmitted disease or infection, but simply because you are having such close contact, that is when you have the opportunity for the lesion to then rub on somebody else's skin. So particularly if you know somebody who you are having close contact with, sexual contact is one instance. If there are people, for example, there have been cases of a few children who've gotten monkeypox in the United States, and they're indicating that those individuals may have actually been, you know, hugged up or cuddled and kissed, you know, that kind of thing, with somebody who had monkeypox, and that is how they were able to get it. So it's that close contact, which is very different to COVID, because with COVID you did not need the close contact. You just had to be in a close enough space with the person. So even though this is the WHO has indicated that this is a disease of global, you know, public health concern in essence, it is not quite a pandemic yet, because we are not at the point where we have cases in every single country and every single region. We are not there yet. Hopefully we don't get there, but it really is something that we need to be concerned on because of the sheer numbers that we are seeing thus far, and particularly the sheer numbers that we are seeing outside of the areas where we normally see monkeypox.
As you mentioned that, some would have raised concerns in terms of with the operationalizing of the New Roxborough Hospital, continued operations of the hospital up at Singer Hill. We had the activation of the old hospital, what we'd call up at the old fort, Fort King George, that some are concerned in terms of the continued offerings of services at the health centers in the various communities. Is it that has been reduced, or we continue to see those health centers fully operational in terms of meeting that need, starting from right within your very own community before you even have to get to the major hospitals?
Certainly. So what we've been doing during the COVID period, we've had to pull back on what we call regular routine services. So we are at the point point where we have returned to routine, regular services at the health centers and at the hospital. So you go into your regular clinics, you're having your elective surgeries are happening now. We have actually not deactivated up at the fort because we still have a few patients with COVID who still need to be hospitalized, and they are still up at Old Fort. We also have the ICU that we are readying for use. Hopefully we never use it, but we are readying for use. It was just handed over a couple of weeks ago, and we actually have other spaces where we can have people who need to be isolated even if they are well. So you should be able to get your regular service at your health center, at the hospital, and at Roxborough as we expand the offerings that are happening at Roxborough.
Tell us as well about, as we look to wrap this morning's interview, contact and follow-up for those persons that continue to have that need, those persons who have been grossly affected, going through this pandemic, and families that are still in very much of a challenged position. The response and support in terms of social services, for which a great part of the responsibility falls within your division.
Right, so let me pull up the number. So if you need to be tested and so forth, the same numbers that we were using before, 800 HEAL and 211 are the numbers you can call. Right. If you need help with getting social support, you can call or WhatsApp 683-8347. That's 683-8347. That's if you need getting, that social support, getting a food card, getting that kind of thing. Or if you need counseling specifically, we also have a counseling hotline where we have our therapeutic counselors sitting there waiting. 683-8341. That's for the counseling hotline, 683-8341. So you can call any of those numbers, WhatsApp those numbers, and you'll get help.
And in the mix in all of this, you all apparently still find ways in the division to keep staff going. Give us a little insight into your emancipation drive that we saw via social media.
The emancipation drive, and unfortunately I had to treat with an emergency, so I was not able to actually attend. But that was a really, really nice initiative where we had a lot of our staff members coming and showing off their clothing and that kind of stuff. If you look throughout the THA, there was several activities like that throughout. And that is what we have to figure out, what is the mix, what is the balance to ensure that everything works. Well, I want to congratulate my communications department, because they're the ones who pulled that together and nice. Managed that even in my absence. They did a really good job at that. So yeah, so we still have to figure out how we're doing all of that and still splicing, having fun, still splicing spice in the middle of all of it.
After a weekend like this, spice indeed. All right, so Dr. Faith, just a reminder to the Tobago public in terms of being able, while we're outside now, still being able to ensure that we are as responsible as we can be under the circumstances, to really hope and pray that we get past without getting the full brunt of what's out there.
Certainly. So definitely pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to the people around you, particularly if you're coming into contact with somebody who has traveled outside of Trinidad and Tobago and they have a fever, they have a flu, they have fever, headache, muscle pains, and they have lesions on their hands or in their mouths or at the in the palms of their hands and so forth. Pay attention to that. If that is you, call 211 or 800 HEAL, and we'll come and deal with you. We'll come and treat with you. But if you are unsure, call 211. If you are unsure, call 211.
To be able to call for direction. So
yeah.
Folks, you have it there, information to continue to guide us even in these times, so that there shouldn't be any fear even heading into the great race, upcoming activities and others in the season. And particularly, before we wrap this morning, vaccination responsibilities for parents and so on, with children are preparing to return to school. I missed that question there.
Yes.
Preparing to return to school. Any quick information to guide our parents with what's required?
Certainly. So we still have vaccines for children. So you can go to Scarborough, Canaan, Roxborough health centers, and you'll get the vaccines for children who may be going back to school in September. So definitely keep doing it, keep getting there, keep getting them, and we just have to keep rolling with the punches. We just have to keep being responsible.
All right. Right, excellent. Thank you very much there again, Dr. Faith B. Israel, Secretary with Responsibility for Health, the Tobago House of Assembly, joining us on set here this morning. Viewers, at this point, we're heading on out of the Tobago Updates morning show. We want to thank you so much for your continued love and support. In the mix here, I particularly want to highlight, I see Russell Morrison saying, I'm home in sweet Tobago. And that's the kind of joy when you view the Tobago Updates morning show from far and wide, and you're happy to be home here. Coming in the mix, I see Carisia O'Connor as well, Jeanette Roberts. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for the continued love and support. Those of you joining us via TV, those listening to us on radio, and those of you continuing to connect with us online. At this point, we prepare to wrap the Tobago Updates morning show, and we head on over to GMT. Good morning, Tobago, with Candice. So bye for now, folks. Have a great day. All right, and remember to stay tuned as we head on over to GMT with Candice.
There is no denying Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we're stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Advertise with Tobago Updates. Call 284-6597. If you have a small or large business, we can get your information in front of the masses. Reach our rapidly growing viewership on Facebook and YouTube. Promote your brand in Trinidad and the Caribbean through M&E TV Now and Gayel. Yes, we can build unique ads for your business. Call now 284-6597 and advertise with us.
Tobago updates. Na 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 na. Good morning, Tobago. Na 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 na. Wake up with Candace and Denicia. Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hail my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. The curtains came down on the Tobago Heritage Festival yesterday with the Emancipation Day celebrations. The 10-day festival was held under the theme Reflect, Rebirth, Rejoice, and stakeholders are heralding it as a success after the COVID-19 pandemic. Persons who attended the events had high praises for the productions and displays. Patrons' favorite events included the opening gala, Charlottesville Natural Treasures Day, and Emancipation Day. There is a high anticipation for the 2023 edition of the Tobago Heritage Festival, as it promises to be bigger and include more events than this year's edition. Meanwhile, news that Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley tested positive for COVID-19 for the fourth time since the start of the pandemic attracted some skepticism from Deputy Chief Secretary Watson Duke. In a video posted on social media, Duke wondered if it was a publicity stunt. He stated that almost every time a new variant emerges in Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Rowley tests positive for the virus. Meanwhile, no one else in his cabinet or government has a similar diagnosis. Duke is calling on the truth to be told about the Prime Minister's health. And nationally, national cyclist Nicholas Paul won 3 medals at the Trinidad and Tobago at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, England. Paul clocked a nippy 1 minute and 0.089 seconds to earn his 3rd medal in as many days, the largest haul for any TNT cyclist at the Commonwealth Games. On Sunday, Paul won silver in the men's sprint, and on Saturday he won gold in the carrying. Paul is the only athlete from Trinidad and Tobago's contingent to earn a medal at the 2022 Commonwealth Games so far. And that was the news in 90 seconds. And of course, you know, our focus continues to remain tourism and how we are marketing our island. And for that, we are being joined with the wonderful Mr. Newton George, who is our award-winning bird watcher in Tobago. He does these bird watching tours and has won many international accolades and has a huge reputation out there. And we also have Miss Alicia Edwards, and she's of course the chairperson for the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, and she's joining us virtually. Now, a special good morning to you, and of course, Miss Alicia Edwards. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good morning to Tobago, to the viewing public, local, regional, and international as well. Pleasant good morning.
I think you need to turn on your audio, Miss Alicia Edwards.
So thank you very much for having us on your show, Candice. Here. Good morning, Mr. George. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning to all the people who are looking on at the live broadcast, and also those who would be joining us in terms of the delayed broadcast later. Thank you for having us.
All right, great. So we're talking, first of all, about global bird fair in the UK, which was just concluded. So tell me a little bit about, that took place in July, from the 13th to the 18th, which was just a couple of weeks ago out there in England. It was the first of the international marketing trade shows that you guys went to reconnect with our source markets out there. So how did it go? I'm going to start with you, Miss Edwards, first.
Okay, so I didn't go on the trip. The trip was headed by our Vice Chair, Mr. Nazib Mohammed, and it included 2 other members of our staff in terms of the marketing. But what I can tell you is that we used the opportunity of the bird fair to also meet with our tourism partners and our stakeholders in the UK. So our mission had a twofold purpose. We went out there to be a part of the bird fair because, as you said, it was our first international fair since 2019. And also we used that opportunity to connect with all our international partners. We have a rep in the UK, we have a couple trade partners, we have airline and airlift partners. So we had a series of meetings leading up to the fair, and then the team spent 3 days at the bird fair. Mr. George can tell you a little more about the fair itself because he was there and he was the star.
And of course, I am going to bring you in, Mr. George. You were out there. How did it go?
Well, let me start by saying over the past 2 and maybe 3 years, from the last fair we attended was 2018. So 2019, 2020, and 2021, there were no fair. And the original name of the fair was the British Birdwatching Fair. And since then, they have since changed the name to Global Bird Fair, which I think is appropriate because we're talking globally. So I think changing of the name was a very good idea. Now, we were there selling Tobago. You know, Tobago is such a beautiful place for bird watching. And we were there with the TTAL members, Sheena Devines and Marcia Patrick. So we had also visited a lot of booths, a lot of companies also at meeting with. And I think we have done very well. I think it was a successful birding fair for Tobago as well.
I think one of the things that we underestimate how impactful and how much reach that idea of bird watching has here in Tobago. And of course, you are very much involved. You are, I would say, at the center of the bird watching industry. Is that interest still there for bird watchers to be able to come to Tobago?
Well, let me tell you, firstly, the bird watching fraternity is over 90 million people in the world.
Yes.
So it's a huge...
Like I said, we underestimate how big it is.
It's a huge market. And for Tobago is a place that people just want to come because there are so many birds you can see on Tobago. And when you compare Tobago to Trinidad as well, we have approximately 20 species here that the average bird that comes to Trinidad, let's say Trinidad, they will have to come to Tobago. Because if you're a true birder, you want to see what we have to offer as well. And we do have a lot of birds to offer for birders as well. We do.
All right. Now, I mean, I'm going to expand a little bit more on that. But before I do, I just want to connect again with Ms. Edwards. And just to give me an idea, because part of this mission was to, like I said, to connect with the tour agencies and, you know, just to reconnect with our people across there to make sure that, you know, they know that Tobago is open. Things are getting back to some sort of normalcy for visitors to come back. What is the response that you've gotten from the team? You know, how is the interest like?
Well, the thing about it is that Tobago was a source of frustration for a lot of our international partners because compared to the other islands in the Caribbean and a lot of other destinations that are prominently tourism, we were actually the last ones back into the game. We were closed for most of 2020, all of 21 basically, and when we reopened with restrictions. Even as I speak, we just relaxed the mask mandate, and even so, the mask mandate isn't fully relaxed. So there's been a lot of frustration in the intervening period from our partners about the slow pace at which we were relaxing those restrictions and the impact that it has had on our tourism business. So where we are now, I think on their end, they're relieved that we're finally over those hurdles and we're back into the game. But what has happened is that we're basically starting at the back of the line, and we have a lot of work to do to catch up, to become front and center in the minds of people who would be booking trips.
Now, like I said, we're now at the back of the line. So from this trip, for what you guys been able to see and experience across there, what do we need to do now to make sure that, you know, we move from the back of the line and to the front of the line to get visitors back to Tobago?
It's a two-prong approach. One of the things that our board is determined to do is to just go back out there for the rest of the year to all the shows that we would have missed in the intervening period. So there is a wedding show coming up later on in October. There is a dive show. There's a cruise show. We have World Travel Market. We have a lot of CTO and regional shows as well. And so it's important for us to actually physically go back out there and represent brand Tobago, Tobago Beyond. On the other hand as well, in sync with that is the need for us to amplify and refine our marketing efforts. As you know, we have had our island hasn't been very visible in the past for a whole host of reasons, and it's our intention to actually refine and review our marketing message and actually try to increase the reach and the acceptability of the brand in more markets and in more homes and in more of our target population.
And tell me, how does the resignation of our CEO, Mr. Louis Lewis, how does that impact the way going forward?
Thank you so much for that question. Now, it's a hurdle that we would not have liked to deal with at this point in time because there's so many things happening. But what I would want to say is that even though Mr. Lewis has resigned, the agency will continue to function. You would have seen in this space that we would actually go out to tender for a firm to recruit a new CEO. Those tenders closed on Friday. And hopefully by the end of this week, our tenders committee committee would have recommended a firm who would handle the recruitment of the CEO. In the intervening, we are hoping to have a new CEO in place by the first or the second week in December if all things work well. And in the intervening period, we would be working in terms of just an interim management arrangement that is now being finalized with the Secretary for Tourism and the Executive Council. For me and for the board, we think it's important that TTAL returns to an organization that has a stable head and a stable CEO, and that is where our focus is. So it is not something that we welcome, but it's something that we're taking in stride, and we're actively working to ensure that it's not the long-term arrangement at the agency.
And then for the benefit of the viewers who may not been privy to what happened, can you just give us an idea of, what led to the resignation of Mr. Lewis?
Well, we came on board in March, and the transition was very difficult on both sides. There was a new administration, there was a new board after having one stable board since 2017, and there were a number of difficulties that became insurmountable. Mr. Lewis indicated at first that he was not going to seek a renewal of his contract, and then he offered his resignation, which the board accepted. But I want to say that one of the things that I'm proud of is that even though resignations and transitions have been hard, we are doing an excellent job of doing this difficult thing well. We are closing out in a very calm and cordial and diplomatic manner with Mr. Lewis. We're actually going to be having a send-off ceremony for him next week with the staff, the entire board, and the secretary, and we're doing what we have to do. But I want to take this opportunity to say to Mr. Lewis that we are very grateful for his service to Tobago and to the agency, and we wish him well in all his endeavors, personal and professional, as he moves on. The other thing I want to say is that sometimes things have to happen for other things to happen, and regardless of what happened, it's important that we deal with all things professionally and with decency. For us at the level of the board, the thing that we are most concerned about, and I think the concern that we share with Mr. Lewis, is that we want TTAL to remain well and to remain functioning. And by bearing that in mind and ensuring that we focus on that, we're handling this transition in a way that I'm very proud. I'm very proud of the way we've been handling this transition.
All right, great. Now turning over to you, Mr. George.
Well, some of our great achievement on that bird fair, that global bird fair, was meeting with two of our major companies from Scotland, Heatherly and Speyside Wildlife. And then we have also met with some companies from England as well.
And Speyside Wildlife is something based out in Scotland and not connected with Tobago.
Not connected with Tobago. It's a Scottish company. But, Speyside is a state in Scotland as well. And then we have also met with some English companies as well. Limosa, Bird Finders, Wild Wings. These are some of the major companies that in England. So I think Tobago is sitting very, very, very good, because we have a huge potential of people coming to Tobago. And I'm sure, I can just tell you that Castar Retreat, they have almost booked out for the coming season. So things are really looking up for Tobago.
And that's great. Now, one of the things that we were discussing before you came on set was that we've lost some of our tour agencies across there in England because of the pandemic.
Yes, that's true. I can tell you one of our major companies, the Mutma Travel, they have gone out of business because of the pandemic. And that was a huge company to Tobago. They had brought a lot of people to Tobago. And then we also have Ramblers Worldwide. Ramblers, they do cruise ships. And for sure they'll be coming back again from November. So we have done well, and we're looking forward for a huge success in the coming season.
And then there is something happening, something special happening in Tobago, a connection that you guys were able to make across there in terms of some research on the birds that are happening in Tobago.
That's true. We Darren Henry, the I think is the acting guys in the forestry, and me, We have met with this guy, this secretary for the new tropical breeding and conservation. He's the secretary, and he's the conserving of birds in the Middle East, South America, and the Caribbean. And he has promised to sponsor Tobago to do a research on a very rare species of bird. And we have looked at the owl, the striped owl, which is very rare. And because it nests on the ground, it's vulnerable to predators. We have also looked at the great-throated leaf tosser. And out of one of these birds, we are going to choose. Now, we are only waiting until Mr. Henry gets back from his vacation. So Mr. Henry and Mr. William Trim, who was the conservator of forest, will get together, and then we'll come up with the identical bird to choose. And then they have promised to give us $3,000, $3,000 US, to do that research. Nice. And we are looking for somebody maybe from who are doing biology or the environment, or somebody from the conservation as well, from the forestry department. But however, that's a very great success from that trip as well.
And Ms. Edwards, could you tell me, how you guys are going to incorporate something like this research on some of these rare birds into your marketing strategy?
Before I go there, I just want to put the icing on the cake in terms of one of the successes of the bird fair. One of the last member of the party that we did mention before is that along with it, that Mr. Alpha Lord, who is the manager of Mount Irving, he was a part of the travel mission representing the accommodation properties. And what he has indicated to us is that coming back from the trip, there has been an uptick in bookings specific to that particular fair. It can be traced back to that fair. And so there's been an immediate response, and we're very heartened by that. So that was just there. In terms of answering your question about all the things that are happening in the industry, one of the things that our board is very interested in is in terms of augmenting the knowledge and ensuring that we keep up the documentation and all of that, because that is important for the sustainability of the industry. It's not just about making money, but about making what we're doing sustainable. And so all the efforts that are involved in recording, documenting all the things that make Tobago special, which will include birding, but will extend to other things, those are things that this board are very interested in starting. I must say, though, that because of our term of appointment is only for 1 year, we close out in March of 2023. We know that there are a couple of things that we're going to start, and we're hoping that they take root and they will be continued beyond our time.
All right. Well, that's unfortunate. I think that we're just losing Ms. Edwards. But, as we're getting ready to wrap up, Mr. George, could you just tell me just your final words on, how do you feel now coming back home after, this bird watching fair and, getting back out there after the pandemic?
Well, I have a positive feeling about Tobago and in the coming season. I could see Tobago just poised to take off in a big way. We were affected by the pandemic, as I said before. And then getting back into the business now, I can see bright days ahead for Tobago, really bright days ahead for Tobago. It's starting from the coming season.
Great. So some positive news and some things to look forward for when it comes to tourism in Tobago. I want to thank you, Mr. George, and of course I want to thank you, Ms. Alicia Edwards, Chairman of the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited, the Board of the Tobago of TTAL, for being on with us this morning. But viewers, don't go anywhere because we have a lot more on Good Morning Tobago after the break.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorns Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorns Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Tobago
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Our national borders, our first step to security, but a possible access point for guns, drugs, crime. If it does not look right, do the right thing. Call Crime Stoppers anonymously. 800-8477. Report possible border crime.
They're the ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. Now we are continuing our discussions this morning with Superintendent Rodhill Kirk from the TTPS, and of course he's going to give us an idea of how did things go over the weekend, because we had a very long weekend. We had a lot of activities. We had the Tobago Heritage Festival coming to a close yesterday. We also had a great fete taking place over the weekend. There was a car show as well. I mean, we had a lot of stuff happening in Tobago. So good morning and welcome to you, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning, Candace. Good morning to your viewers. I'm okay. I'm happy to report that Tobago has been relatively safe over the long weekend and over the heritage period, along with the Great Fete. Just there were minor incidents, but nothing much to really talk about. First of all, I would want to commend all the officers who worked extremely hard throughout that period. Without them, we couldn't have such a successful period throughout the long weekend.
All right, so can you tell us a little bit about, in terms of drivers and, dealing with drunk driving and things like that? Did we have a lot of that happening over the weekend, or was that able to be under control?
Yes, that was definitely under control. We had a few DUI exercises. However, fortunately, no persons were arrested for driving under the influence. What we had persons arrested for were persons who were wanted in connection with outstanding matters before the court. Some of those persons were arrested. However, in terms of traffic exercises, yes. We also had speed exercises. We had over 100 tickets issued.
Wow.
Over that long holiday period.
And mainly for speeding?
Mainly for speeding. There had several other offenses, but speeding. We had to ensure safety on the roadways, so police came out and did what they had to do.
And then what was the experience like, dealing with some of the street processions? Did we find that our public, were they cooperative, or were there problems?
Well, just to name a few, when you look at the Heritage Festival, there were 9 events. The Great Fete, there were at least 6 events. Then we had 2 car shows also capture the flag within that whole period. And I could tell you, in addition to we have to police those events, we also had to ensure that the community remains safe. So what we did, we adopted a proactive approach where we asked for help from Trinidad. So some of our counterparts from Trinidad were here. We had the Garden Emergency Branch, as you would have seen in the Plymouth Juve. We had the Interagency Task Force on the island, along with our officers from the Air Support Unit. They were very helpful, and I must also say a heartfelt thank you to these guys for, putting aside their personal things and come to Tobago and give us that assistance.
Great
so
news
remain
to hear.
grateful.
And okay, so one of the things that the public has been concerned about is that
there's been a rise in gun violence in Tobago, robberies and so on involving guns. Now, I know one of the things that, I guess former ACP nurse would have been working on is to make sure that we, or at least to control the amount of guns that are coming into Tobago. Now, have we been able, how has that work been going in terms of, keeping guns, the illegal guns off the street?
Well, what I can tell you that from statistics that show that, things like firearms, we believe that they come through some of our legal ports and our illegal ports of entry as well. So what if you would have seen over the weekend, you would have seen a lot of port exercises.
Yes.
These are measures put in place to deter people from coming. It's difficult based on the turnover to search every vehicle, but at least we are there as a proactive measure to implement searches on vehicles and persons coming off the ferry, even at some instances at the airports. So with that, in addition to ongoing exercises, we are trying to eradicate firearm in Tobago, so we have been doing our part.
And have you been able to, catch anybody, trying to come across with these illegal firearms and even drugs?
Well, the last time we retrieved the firearm is on Plymouth the Tuesday morning. There was one pistol found along with some rounds of ammunition. As I mentioned before, we can only do as much as we can do as long as we have the information, and that's why we urge the public to continue working alongside with the police, share the information, and we will put it into action. Okay?
And then in terms of the new tourism, I should say new, but the tourism-oriented police, I know they got those bicycles a couple of weeks ago and so on. Now, how have that been used, and how has that been incorporated into the police patrols, and has they benefited the police in any way over the last few weeks?
I will say yes to that. We have been having steady patrols from that unit. And, it's a work in progress where we are embarking on strengthening that unit with personnel. Of course, because of the equipment they now receive, they need special training for that. That is ongoing. So in the future, we'll see more of their presence on the streets and in the communities in Tobago.
I think a lot of people are certainly looking forward to that. And then what about, the body cams? Because I know that they were supposed to have some more body cams coming into Tobago. Have they arrived in Tobago, and were they put into use as yet?
Right. Yes, I could speak to the body cams. Yes, body cams has arrived. However, again, before they are put into circulation, the officers must be trained. I am proud to say that the training has been completed just about a few days ago. Approximately 200 officers were trained. So this is something that is going to be implemented in the recent future, well, the not too distant future. As soon as all the protocols are implemented, you will see police officers on the front line using the body cams.
And how many officers are we looking at to be using those body cams on an average day?
Well, the thing about it, they will be distributed to the more officers who are more frequent on the front line. You will have people from the traffic department. You will have our task force. You will have, like those units who interact directly with the public. As we have about roughly 100 body cams. So these are which we will put into circulation.
And tell me about the reception it has among the officers themselves. Are they okay? How do they feel about the use of body cams? Is it something that's welcomed?
Well, as society change, we also must change our mindset. And I assure you that the officers are quite comfortable. There are no issues as it relates to the body cam. I mean, it is there for their own, safeguard.
Yes.
So no officer has been resistant to it. Change is something that we welcome, and our officers are on board.
It's uncertain because I know one of the complaints that we get a lot from the public is that of abuse of power by officers. So perhaps, with the body cams now, there can be an an independent watch guard in a sense, to bridge the gap.
Well, it's true because most of the clips and videos you have been seeing on social media, you always see the side comment from the person who claimed to be aggrieved. Now that the police will have that opportunity you will see all sides. So it's a positive thing coming from us. It will be a positive thing, and we welcome it. So you will have to see all sides of the story, So not only being biased by one side.
Certainly. And then I'm not too sure if you'll be able to give me this update, but I know that maybe a month or two ago we had the prisoners have to move to Trinidad because of some health and safety concerns by the prison there next to the Scarborough police station. Is there any update that you could share with us on what's been happening?
Whilst I can't speak to all of this, I'm aware that the prisons in Tobago has been like that for quite some time, where the inmates are moved to Port of Spain. But in terms of their administration and their issues, I really cannot speak to it as to what will be from now going forward. I heard through the grapevine that situation will be rectified soon, but that is as much I can speak to that.
Okay. And so are we still able to hold persons at all in Tobago, or like persons who are just arrested, and where's that?
Well, persons who are arrested by the police, what usually happens is that all police stations are equipped with cells and so on, so holding cells. So if they are taken before the courts and the matters are dealt with where they are convicted or being remanded, what usually happens is that we have officers who will take them down to Port of Spain, where they will be housed. But that's as far as it goes. We don't, the prisons here don't accept anybody. So this is why we implement those measures.
All right. And now as we're getting ready to wrap, I just want to know if there's anything left that you have, any messages that you want to leave with our public to know about the police, and especially about, just how things been going with the force and the work in Tobago.
Well, what we aim to do in Tobago is to continue to engage our communities. Community partnership is one of our priorities in terms of having the police working with the community in order to build back that level of trust and confidence. And I assure the public will be seeing more of that going forward in Tobago. We really want to bring back Tobago to that accommodating community that we enjoyed in the past. So in order to do that, we have to start back at our roots. So I want to assure the public that they will see that level of engagement in the near future and beyond.
All right, great. So some wonderful things to look forward to. So Superintendent Rodhill Kirk, I just want to thank you for joining us this morning and giving us an update on what's been happening. Well, we had not much happening. So, it makes for an easier conversation in the sense that, we did not have any untoward activities happen over the weekend. But we're going to thank the police again for some good work and for just being there and being around in the public and for making us feel safer here in Tobago. All right, viewers. So, that's it for our show this morning. Yes. It was wonderful being with you, and I thank you again for joining us and for viewing. And I just hope that you have a wonderful, safe, and productive day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
To a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong.